Hey everyone, welcome to the Finance Current Affairs session. Let's start the discussion, guys. A very good evening to all of you. Good evening, Bhakti. So guys, the very first news for today is City Union Bank secures $50 million commitment from the International Finance Corporation. So City Union Bank has secured a commitment of 50 million USD from IFC. This is important, okay? To support the micro, small and medium enterprises, to support the MSME in adopting the energy efficient and cost effective solution. So this is regarding the green financing, okay? This is regarding the green financing, can be important for your examination also. So City and Union Bank has secured a 50 million USD commitment from International Finance Corporation for the MSME green financing. The funding is intended to enable the MSME to make the transition towards low carbon operations and support the India's effort towards achieving the net zero goal by 2070. So please do remember this particular news can be important for your examination because it's related to green financing again, right? Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation and the Indian Institute of Corporate Affairs to build they have entered into a MOU to build the unified SDG, ESG, CSR framework. Very, very important. SDG, ESG and CSR. So this is a comprehensive SDG alignment framework. This will integrate both the state as well as the national level data plus ESG, which is none other than your environmental social governance, and CSR, which is corporate social responsibility indicators. So this will be a combined framework for the three. Okay, very, very important. Now this framework will build upon the existing National Indicator Framework NIF, which is used by the MOSPI to track the India's progress on the 17 Sustainable Development Goals. So this is a mix of SDG, ESG and CSR. Very, very important, super important news for your upcoming examination. So on 31st of October, there was one meeting, the Central Board meeting of Reserve Bank of India. So this was 618th meeting. So what things were discussed here? Regarding the emerging global and domestic landscape. That's not so important, but I'm just, kind of giving you a heads up. Okay, we are covering the RBI website information as well. So this was published. So things like domestic economic landscape, evolving geopolitical and financial market development was covered in this. And the board also reviewed subcommittees of Central Board and assessed the development on the activities of deposit insurance and the credit guarantee corporation. These things were discussed in this particular meeting, not so important. Next one. Further extension of timelines for mandatory implementation of system and processes by qualified stockbrokers with respect to T+0 settlement. We all know that India is transitioning from T+1 to T+0 settlement cycle, right? What is settlement cycle? Let's suppose you bought a share today. As of now, it will be there in your demat account by tomorrow. The delivery will be there by tomorrow. But in some stocks, top 500 stocks, there is an option. You can take T+0 settlement as well. Right? So this is regarding the extension of timeline. So earlier the timeline was 31st December 2024. So the stockbrokers have to put in place all the necessary system and processes for the same so that we can transition to the T+0 settlement cycle. But now the timeline has been moved to 1st November 2025, and this is important for your examination. This is important for your 2025 RBI Grade B Phase 2 examination. Okay, so do remember this date. Next one, RBI short dollar forward book rises after 7 months. So what is short dollar forward book? What is forward book? It's nothing but a derivative contract. So here it is a currency derivative contract, I can say. It is based on dollar and we are shorting it. By shorting it, I mean we are selling it. So here we are selling the dollars. Here we are selling the dollars. Why? Because the RBI wants to stabilize the value of INR in front of dollar because of the aggressive decline in the price of the INR, depreciation of INR in front of US dollar. That's why RBI is creating a supply as of now of dollars, right? So जितना ज़्यादा RBI सेल करेगा डॉलर्स को उतना ज़्यादा क्या होगा, उसका प्राइस स्टेबलाइज होगा, किसका, INR का. उसकी सप्लाई बढ़ा रहा है बेसिकली RBI, राइट? दैट्स व्हाई वी कॉल इट एज दैट वी फॉलो द डर्टी फ्लोट or the managed float. The foreign exchange rates are determined completely on demand and supply subject to the RBI interventions. This is how RBI intervenes in the process, right? This is how RBI intervenes in the process. So I have mentioned the concepts as well, at least for the first timers who don't know anything about these forward contracts. They are also able to understand it by downloading the PDF. SBI joins the Indian International Bullion Exchange IFSC Limited. So इसका क्या शॉर्ट फॉर्म है, IIBX. SBI ने ज्वाइन किया है IIBX को एज स्पेशल कैटेगरी क्लाइंट. स्पेशल कैटेगरी क्लाइंट, प्लीज डू रिमेंबर दिस न्यूज. Now SBI has become the special category client of IIBX and completed its first gold trade as a such client. Now earlier also in 2024 SBI was a trading cum clearing member of IIBX and now it is also enrolled in the special category client. Right, so इससे क्या होगा, basically SBI काफ़ी सारा support दे पाएगा bullion and jewelry sector को by offering more and more import pathways, by increasing the transparency and increasing the price discovery. Next one is SEBI's new rule for the investment advisors. So ये रूल जो है वो इन्वेस्टमेंट एडवाइजर्स के लिए होता क्या था ना, मान लो पर्सन ए मेरे क्लाइंट है, मिस्टर ए इज माई क्लाइंट, राइट? अब वो मिस्टर बी के पास चले गए एडवाइजरी लेने के लिए, तो मिस्टर बी उनसे कुछ चार्ज नहीं कर पाते थे. मिस्टर बी वॉज नॉट एबल टू चार्ज फ्रॉम हिम on the investments he has made on the old portfolio. Why? Because I am his agent, I am his distributor, I am his advisor. Now there is a SEBI ka new rule. If the client wants to take a second opinion on their old investments from some new advisor, is it possible? Yes, it is possible. So giving second opinion on the asset classes which are already held by the client, the new broker can also charge a fees which can be up to 2.5% per year. 2.5% per year of the asset value, right? This is the new rule. पहले rule होता था कि आप पैसे नहीं ले सकते, but as of now it has changed. If you are giving advice to the client, no matter that particular portfolio is already governed under some other agent, no problem at all. Still up to 2.5 per year you can charge of the asset value. सही है? Next one, interim arrangement of past performance data of the IAs, investment advisors, and RAs. RAs means research analyst. We all know that SEBI ने एक नया प्लेटफॉर्म चालू किया था यहाँ पे, राइट, फॉर वेरिफिकेशन ऑफ द पास्ट परफॉर्मेंस. आई होप यू गाइज रिमेंबर दिस पर्टिकुलर प्लेटफॉर्म. दिस वॉज PARRVA, पास्ट रिस्क एंड रिटर्न वेरिफिकेशन एजेंसी. पास्ट रिस्क एंड रिटर्न वेरिफिकेशन एजेंसी. सो देर वॉज अ बिग प्रॉब्लम. इफ आई एम an investment advisor, I am declaring the past data. Somebody needs to verify that I am declaring it correctly, right? So that it doesn't become misleading for multiple investors. आप मेरा डेटा देख के इन्वेस्ट कर रहे हो, क्या पता मेरा डेटा ही सही नहीं हो. Maybe there is a problem in my data, or maybe that's a fake data. So that's why SEBI has introduced the past risk and return verification agency. Now this particular agency will verify my data, verify the risk which is there in my product. सही है? अभी क्या है, लॉन्च नहीं हुआ था, बट स्टिल द इन्वेस्टमेंट एडवाइजर्स एंड research analyst wants to publish their data. Now how can they do so? So as of now, on a temporary basis, SEBI has allowed them to show the past performance only if it is certified by a chartered accountant or a cost accountant. अगर आपको इस एजेंसी, क्योंकि ये एजेंसी इंस्टेब्लिश ही नहीं हुई थी, तो उससे पहले भी अगर इफ यू वांट टू post your data, if you want to publish your data, you need to get your data verified by a chartered accountant or a cost accountant. और उसके अलावा कुछ और भी रूल्स दिए थे कि विद इन 3 months, जैसे आप रजिस्टर करते हो उस प्लेटफॉर्म पे, विद इन 3 months you need to स्टार्ट द वेरिफिकेशन विद दिस पर्टिकुलर प्लेटफॉर्म, राइट, और फिर आपको उसके बाद वेरिफिकेशन करने का नीड नहीं पड़ेगा. सो दीज आर सम ऑफ द अपडेट्स दैट सेबी हैज मेड. यहाँ आपको ध्यान होना चाहिए कि अगर पास डेटा आपने इस पर्टिकुलर प्लेटफॉर्म के आने से पहले पोस्ट किया है तो इट नीड्स टू बी सर्टिफाइड बाय अ चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट और अ कॉस्ट अकाउंटेंट, राइट. Okay. Then SEBI caps the weights in the Nifty Bank and tightens the index rules to broaden the representation. Now, they have not stated the reason why they are doing so. Say for example, if there is an index, there is a thematic index. What is a thematic index? If I talk about Nifty, that's purely a index, that's purely a benchmark, because there are 50 stocks in it, different variety. कोई किसी इंडस्ट्री का है, कोई किसी और इंडस्ट्री का है. But if I talk about a thematic index, राइट, जिसको हम क्या बोलते हैं, नॉन बेंचमार्क इंडाइस भी बोलते हैं, नॉन बेंचमार्क इंडेक्स भी बोलते हैं, जो बेंचमार्क नहीं है. बेसिकली इट्स नॉट अ बेंचमार्क लाइक फिन निफ्टी, इट्स नॉट अ बेंचमार्क लाइक जस्ट लाइक निफ्टी 50s. सो इसके थोड़े रूल्स को ज़्यादा टाइट कर दिया था. वॉट यू नीड टू नो इज जस्ट द कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ नॉन बेंचमार्क इंडेक्स, राइट. इफ आई टॉक अबाउट निफ्टी दैट्स अ बेंचमार्क इंडेक्स, बट इफ आई टॉक अबाउट द फिन निफ्टी दैट्स नॉट अ बेंचमार्क इंडेक्स, राइट. सो उसके अंदर किसी पर्टिकुलर स्टॉक का बहुत ज़्यादा वेट नहीं रह पाए, किसी 2-3 स्टॉक्स का ही बहुत ज़्यादा वेट ना हो जाए, तो इसको उनने क्या किया था, बेटर किया था, इसके वेट्स थोड़े से बेटर कर दिए थे सेबी ने. सो दे हैव इंट्रोड्यूस मल्टीपल कैपिंग्स, जस्ट लाइक वी कैन सी अ टॉप सिंगल कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंट कैन नॉट बी हैविंग अ वेट ऑफ मोर देन 20%. अर्लियर इट यूज्ड टू बी 33%, नाउ दे हैव कैप्ड इट एट 20%. डू यू नो व्हाई सेबी हैज डन दैट? विच वॉज अ बड़ा सा कांड इन द इंडेक्स इटसेल्फ, जो अभी रिसेंटली हुआ था पिछले 6 महीने में. किसी को याद है? एक ऑर्गेनाइजेशन थी जिसने बहुत सारे ट्रेड्स लेके मैनिपुलेट किया था मार्केट को. डू यू गाइज रिमेंबर द नेम ऑफ द ऑर्गेनाइजेशन? एनीवन? द नेम ऑफ द ऑर्गेनाइजेशन वॉज जेन स्ट्रीट. ओके, जेन स्ट्रीट नाम था, इफ यू गाइज रिमेंबर. सो क्लोज टू 4-5 महीने हो गए अभी उस बात को. उन्होंने काफ़ी मैनिपुलेशन किया था इन इंडेक्स के अंदर. दैट्स वाई सेबी हैज टेकन दिस पर्टिकुलर स्टेप, ताकि कोई भी इंडेक्स को मैनिपुलेट ना कर पाए. OpenAI एंड PayPal हैज पार्टनरशिप टू इंटीग्रेट द पेमेंट्स विद इन ChatGPT. तो आने वाले टाइम में आप क्या कर पाओगे, आपका पेमेंट सीधा ChatGPT से भी कर पाओगे. वाई? बिकॉज दे हैव पार्टनर्ड विथ PayPal, राइट, विच इज अगेन facilitating, which will be giving the payment infrastructure within the ChatGPT itself. Next is regarding the key sources of India's FDI. तो अब जो इंडिया के अंदर FDI आ रहा है, that is coming from majorly it is coming from the United States and Singapore. So they both, US and Singapore, they both have accounted for more than one third of India's total inward foreign direct investment during the financial year 2025. So this is the trend that you need to know. 2 कंट्रीज का ही मिला के 1/3 से ज़्यादा हो जाता है, सिंगापुर और US, राइट. ADB approves USD 460 million financing for agriculture solarization in Maharashtra. इसके अंदर अगर आप सिर्फ हेडलाइन भी पढ़ लोगे, even if you guys are able to cover this headline, that will also be fine. Do remember, ADB has approved a 460 million financing for agriculture solarization, that too in Maharashtra. Infibeam Avenues Limited receives in principle approval from the International Financial Service Center Authority. So IFSCA के अंदर एक नया अप्रूवल मिला है किसको, पेमेंट सर्विस प्रोवाइडर की तरह एक्ट करने को. टू विच ऑर्गेनाइजेशन? Infibeam Avenue Limited, right? So now they can do multiple financial services activities like escrow account operations, cross-border remittances, and payment processing and settlement services in the Gift City platform. Reliance Industries Limited partnered with Google LLC to expand the AI access across India. अभी बहुत सारी पार्टनरशिप हो रही है, जैसे अगर आपको याद हो, so जो एयरटेल यूजर्स हैं, they are having Perplexity access. Similarly, Reliance has partnered with Google LLC so that आपको जो AI प्लेटफॉर्म है Google AI Pro प्लान, वो फ्री ऑफ कॉस्ट मिल जाए for 18 months on the Jio platform. So those who are having access to the Jio network can get Google AI Pro plan for 18 months, that too completely free of cost, just to promote the AI penetration in India. Similar kind of partnership Airtel has done with Perplexity, right? सो अगर आप लोगों के पास भी एयरटेल का नेटवर्क है तो आप परप्लेक्सिटी का फ्री सब्सक्रिप्शन ले सकते हो. दैट्स अमेजिंग. इट्स गुड फॉर योर करंट अफेयर प्रिपरेशन एज वेल, बिकॉज परप्लेक्सिटी काफ़ी रियल टाइम है. चैट जीपीटी कॉन्टेंट क्रिएशन के लिए इज गुड, बट परप्लेक्सिटी इज गुड फॉर द रियल टाइम अपडेट्स, राइट? नेक्स्ट, RBI repatriates significant portion of gold reserves to India. So we have seen in the recent 1 to 2 years, we have seen that RBI is bringing more and more gold reserves to India. Why? Because of the risk of sanctions in the Western countries. Just like US has freezed the Russian assets. So that's why RBI has also accelerated the repatriation of its gold reserve from abroad. So they have bring back almost about 64 tons of gold during the first half of 2026, right? During the first half of 2026 में 64 ton already ला चुके हैं. As a result, more than 65% of India's gold reserve is now held in the domestic accounts only. Okay, so more than 65% reserves जो है इंडिया का वो domestic इंडिया के अंदर ही होल्ड किया जा रहा है. Why? Because there is a risk of freezing of assets in the Western country. We have seen that US has frozen certain assets of Russia. So that creates a geopolitical risk. That's why ये चीज़ हो रही है. So we need to know what news is there, plus the reason of that news as well sometimes can be important, because in the examination in the phase 1 also we have seen that related questions भी आ रहे हैं आपके एग्जाम के अंदर. Not just the direct news, but some of the related questions as well. RBI proposes same day credit for cross border inward payment. Important. RBI ने क्या ड्राफ्ट सर्कुलर निकाला है. दिस इज जस्ट अ ड्राफ्ट सर्कुलर, स्टिल यू नीड टू नो. To accelerate the crediting of the cross-border inward remittances. Say for example, I am getting a cross-border inward remittances. CB inward. Now my bank, obviously it's going to be processed via bank only. So the moment the bank receives the cross-border payment during the foreign exchange market hour, if they are receiving it in the market hour, they need to process on the very same day. They need to credit my account. That means they need to transfer that balance to my account. That's what the meaning of credit is here. They need to credit my account on the very same business day. If they are receiving it after market hours, it should be by next day. So this is a strict practice जो कि RBI लेके आ रहे हैं ताकि फंड्स का इशू ना आए यहाँ पे. This is also called as straight through processing, right? Straight through processing. तो अभी आपने देखा है चेक ट्रंकेशन सिस्टम के अंदर भी कंटिन्यूस में हो गया, और अभी यहाँ क्रॉस बॉर्डर इनवर्ड पेमेंट के लिए भी RBI is going to implement this thing. दो एज ऑफ नाउ इट इज़ अ ड्राफ्ट सर्कुलर, पर यूजुअली हमने देखा है कि मेजरली ड्राफ्ट सर्कुलर्स आपके नॉर्मल सर्कुलर्स में कन्वर्ट हो ही जाते हैं, इसलिए मैं भी पढ़ा ही देता हूं पहले. अगर कुछ चेंज होगा तो मैं अगले सेशन में कवर कर लूंगा. सेंटर H1 फाइनेंशियल ईयर 2026 फिस्कल डेफिसिट इज एट 36.5% of the full year target. So recently, Comptroller General of Accounts have released the data related to the central government's fiscal deficit for the first half year. तो अभी फर्स्ट हाफ ईयर हमारा कंक्लूड हुआ है, अप्रैल से लेके सितंबर 2026. इसको बोलते हैं H1 ऑफ फाइनेंशियल ईयर 2026. सो दिस वाज एट द फिस्कल डेफिसिट वाज एट 5.73 लाख करोड़, which is equivalent to 36.5% of the full year fiscal deficit target. And as of now, what is our fiscal deficit target for financial year 2026? It is 4.4% of the GDP. Okay, it is 4.4% of the GDP. Please do remember this data. Indian household piling on debt faster than the creating assets. So RBI data, as per the recent RBI data, यहाँ पे देखा गया कि इंडिया का जो हाउस होल्ड सेक्टर है वो डेट के अंदर ज्यादा ग्रो कर रहा है एज कंपेयर टू द 2020 फाइनेंशियल ईयर 2020. वी हैव सीन इन 2025 दैट द ग्रोथ रेट इन द लायबिलिटी सर्ज, इन द डेट सर्ज, डेट के बढ़ने का ग्रोथ रेट कितना था? 102% था एज कंपेयर टू द ग्रोथ इन इक्विटी विच इज जस्ट 48%. सो यहाँ पे देखा जा रहा है कि हाउस होल्ड जो है इंडिया का, they are taking debt more than creating assets, which is not a good thing, right? So it's just the RBI data, that's why I'm covering it. EPFO launches the Employee Enrollment Scheme 2025. This is a voluntary window for the past coverage. Say for example, आप कोई business कर रहे हो, now you are having multiple employees and PF Act is applicable on you, right? So usually 20 से ज़्यादा employee होते हैं तो it becomes applicable on you. This particular scheme अब देखा गया है कि काफ़ी सारे बिजनेसमैन PF नहीं काट रहे थे. So this is a voluntary window for past coverage. यहाँ पे आपको जो पुराने ड्यूज थे उसको जमा करवाने की जगह, उसको डिपॉजिट करवाने की जगह जो आगे से आप कर सकते हो, that too with quite less amount of penalties, right? They won't be imposing you different penalties which they have it in the act. They will be giving you multiple relaxation, but you need to voluntarily come forward. So this has been done to enable the employers to voluntarily enroll eligible employees who have not been covered under the EPF system for a specified period. तो specified period क्या है? ये वो specified period है. अगर इन डेट्स के बीच में आपके पास कोई एम्प्लॉय था जिसका आपने पीएफ डिडक्ट नहीं किया है, सो यू कैन वॉलंटरली डिक्लेयर दिस थिंग, यू कैन वॉलंटरली एक्सेप्ट दिस थिंग in the 6 months time frame, right? It is starting from 1st of November. Now I have covered already this particular news. I think in 3-4 sessions back, 2-3 हफ्ते पहले शायद, I think 3 weeks पहले I have covered this particular news, but it is starting from 1st of November. That's why I think this news is again there in the newspapers. So we are having the 6 months time period that you need to know, 1st November to 30th April 2026. In this particular window of 6 months, you can voluntarily डिस्क्लोज की अच्छा आपसे ये चीज़ आपने सही नहीं करी, यहाँ पे आपने कॉन्ट्रावेंशन किया एक्ट का, ये आपके एम्प्लॉयज़ हैं जिनका पीएफ डिडक्ट नहीं हुआ, एंड यू कैन नाउ स्टार्ट कंप्लाइंग विद द एक्ट, राइट? You can now start complying with the act. So whatever the employee share of PF contribution was there for the past period, if you have not deducted, no worries at all, it will be completely waived. But employers need to remit their own share. दो shares होते हैं PF के, एक employee मिलाता है, एक employer मिलाता है. The employer needs to contribute their share at least with applicable interest, that too at discounted rate, and a flat penal damage fees of 100 rupee per establishment. सो यहाँ इतनी कम पेनल्टी रखी है ताकि इंकरेज किया जा रहा है कि बेसिकली अगर कोई प्रीवियसली कोई भी मिस्टेक्स हुई है तो उनको अब आप सॉर्ट कर सको, राइट? सर हमको क्या याद रखना है, यू जस्ट नीड टू हैव अ आइडिया कि ये स्कीम किस चीज़ के लिए, एनरोलमेंट स्कीम 2025, एंड इसका स्कीम का ओपनिंग पीरियड क्या है प्लस इसका ड्यूरेशन क्या है. रशिया ओवरटेक्स यूक्रेन एज इंडियाज टॉप सप्लायर ऑफ सनफ्लावर ऑयल. सो अभी सनफ्लावर ऑयल जो है दैट इज क्लोज टू 56% India is importing the sunflower oil from Russia. Union government releases over 444 crore under the 15th Finance Commission grants to rural local bodies in the Odisha. तो यहाँ पे specific state specific news है, right? That's why मैंने इसको थोड़ा सा late cover किया है. Just a reading of the headline will also be fine, okay? UPI record a all-time high of 27.28 lakh crore in October transaction. So ये डेटा है जो आपको यहाँ पे याद रखना पड़ेगा क्योंकि जब आपका एग्जाम है तब तक आई डोंट थिंक नवंबर का डेटा पब्लिश होने वाला है. सो दिस इज द डेटा दैट यू नीड टू रिमेंबर एज ऑफ नाउ, राइट? UPI records a all-time high of 27.28 lakh crore in the October month transaction. So this is the transaction value. Okay, this is the transaction value of October 2025. This is the highest till date. Okay, this is the highest till date. So year on year basis पे comparison करें तो as compared to October 2024, in October 2025 there is a growth rate of 16%. Okay. RBI annual survey on computer software and ITES. So basically it's nothing but a survey which RBI conducts every June, every year, right? Every year in the June month. So it's all about to capture different things like the employment data, like the export data, import data, and other financial data of the software and ITES firms. Okay. SBI launches a new recognition initiative for the employees of State Bank of India, right? So उनके खुद के जो employees हैं उनके लिए launch किया गया SBI Star, in which the employees will be recognized for the outstanding performance. You just have to remember the headline of this particular news, right? Not to go into too much detail, no worries at all. Just remember the headline SBI Star, which is an employee recognition excellence award. Top 10 countries with highest government debt to GDP ratios in 2025. यहाँ पे देखा गया कि सबसे ज़्यादा किसका है, सूडान का है, having the debt to GDP ratio, आपका debt कितना है, आपके loans कितने हैं as compared to your GDP. So ये ratio कैसे निकलता है, debt divided by GDP, right? Debt to GDP ratio. So Sudan का we can see that 252%, Japan का 235%. If I talk about India, it is around 80%, right? It is around 80%. In terms of global ranking, India is 31st. India is having the 31st rank. NPCI International Payment Limited partners with Ryzen Pay to enable the UPI transactions in Malaysia. Now this can be important considering the internationalization of the UPI aggressively by NPCI. Please do remember this particular news. This is for the Malaysia, right? ये मलेशिया के लिए, इससे पहले भी सिंगापुर, दुबई और बहुत सारी जगह ये चीज़ हो चुकी है, right? प्रोजेक्ट नेक्सस को भी याद रखना, हाई चांसेस ही कि आपके एग्जाम में आ जाएगा. India Post Payment Banks to provide doorstep digital life certificate service for the pensioners of EPFO. Now EPFO ऑफिस ये एक रिटायरमेंट फंड स्कीम चलाते हैं जहाँ पे ये प्राइवेट सेक्टर एम्प्लॉइज को रिटायरमेंट के बाद कुछ पेंशन देते हैं. नाउ देयर इज अ प्रॉब्लम, वी ऑलवेज नीड टू साइन अ डिजिटल लाइफ सर्टिफिकेट. द पेंशनर्स नीड टू साइन अ डिजिटल लाइफ सर्टिफिकेट की पेंशनर्स अभी भी अलाइव है, दे नीड पेंशन. सो इंडियन पोस्ट पेमेंट बैंक का नेटवर्क बहुत ही ज़बरदस्त है. दैट्स वाई EPFO और इंडियन पोस्ट पेमेंट बैंक ने क्या किया है, पार्टनरशिप किया है डोर टू डोर स्टेप सर्विस की फॉर द डिजिटल लाइफ सर्टिफिकेट, और उसके लिए एक छोटी सी यहाँ पे फी भी चार्ज की जाएगी. देन OpenAI साइंस अ ह्यूज बिलियन डील, $38 बिलियन मल्टी ईयर क्लाउड डील विथ Amazon वेब सर्विस. अगर आपको सिर्फ हेडलाइन भी पता है, दैट टू इट विल बी फाइन. नॉट टू गो इनटू टू मच डिटेल ऑफ दिस पर्टिकुलर न्यूज़, दैट्स नॉट रिक्वायर्ड. ओके, सो OpenAI ने $38 बिलियन की डील साइन करी है यहाँ पे किसके साथ में, Amazon वेब सर्विसेज के साथ में. देन Paytm enables NRI from 12 countries to use the UPI in India with international mobile numbers. So now NRIs can also pay from 12 countries via Paytm UPI. वो भी UPI पेमेंट यूज कर सकते हैं. They don't have the local number, still they can pay it with the international number itself, right? And this is the extra dose, guys, for your homework for today. Do not ignore the extra dose. Do it. Definitely do complete it just after my session by downloading this particular PDF. Okay. So thank you so much, guys. See you soon in some other lecture. See you soon tomorrow at 8 p.m. with a lot of MCQs related to your finance current affairs session. Okay. And the RBI circular videos are also out, right? You can watch the RBI circular videos as well for the month of October 2025. So thank you so much, everyone. Bye bye. Take care. Good night. See you soon tomorrow.